Hey everyone, welcome back to Tap Tech, where we dive deep into the world of tech so you never miss what's coming next. If you've been waiting for Apple's next big move, you're in the right place, because today we're talking about the upcoming iPad Pro M5. This device is shaping up to be one of Apple's most exciting tablets yet, and there's a lot to cover. From release date rumors to upgrades, performance boosts, and some small but meaningful changes, we'll go through everything that makes this next iPad Pro worth watching. Now let's be honest. Every time Apple drops a new iPad Pro, the question comes up, should you wait for it, or is the current one good enough? That's the tricky part, and by the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer picture. So stay tuned, because there are some details here you might not have heard about, and some of them could make all the difference. So, when is the iPad Pro M5 coming? Most reports and leaks suggest a fall 2025 release, with October being the most likely month. Apple has a rhythm with its product launches, and the iPad Pro usually follows a predictable cycle. The M4 iPad Pro came out in May 2024, which was unusual because Apple rarely drops new iPads that early in the year. If Apple sticks to a more familiar pattern, late 2025 makes sense for the next big update. Some analysts are hedging their bets, saying it could slip into early 2026, but supply chain leaks show production has already been gearing up for parts, so October 2025 looks solid. Apple might even tease it in September alongside iPhones, but the full release is more likely in October. That means we're just weeks away from an official announcement, which adds to the excitement. And if you think this will just be a small bump, let's clear that up. The iPad Pro M5 may not look radically different on the outside, but under the hood, there's some serious change coming. The biggest upgrade, of course, is the chip. Apple is moving to the M5 processor, and this is where the magic happens. The new chip is rumored to be based on even more advanced manufacturing, possibly a 2nm process, though some reports say Apple may stick with refined 3nm for now. Either way, it's going to mean faster performance, lower power consumption, and a smoother experience across the board. Expect stronger CPU cores, a more powerful GPU for graphics, and a neural engine that's ready for Apple's growing focus on AI and on-device machine learning. If you're into creative work like editing video, animating, or producing music, the M5 will give you the kind of performance boost you've been waiting for. But Apple isn't stopping with just the chip. One big area that could make a noticeable difference is memory. Right now, the iPad Pro can be configured with 8 or 16 GB of RAM depending on storage options. With the M5 model, we're expecting Apple to bump that up and make 16 GB standard on higher configurations. That means even more room for multitasking, running big creative apps, or handling the new AI features that Apple is weaving into iPadOS. If you've ever felt your iPad Pro slow down when juggling multiple projects, this upgrade is going to matter. The display is also worth talking about. Apple introduced its tandem OLED panels with the M4 iPad Pro, giving us the Ultra Retina XDR screen. It was thinner, brighter, and had incredible contrast. With the M5, Apple is likely to stick with the same OLED tech but refine it further. Some leaks suggest even thinner bezels, which would give you more screen real estate in the same footprint. The resolution and brightness may not see a massive jump, because the current displays are already some of the best in any tablet, but refinements could mean better power efficiency, more accurate color handling, and smoother HDR playback. If you're someone who uses the iPad Pro for design work, photo editing, or just watching movies, you're still going to notice the polish. Now here's where things get interesting. The front-facing camera setup could be one of the most practical upgrades. With the M4, Apple moved the selfie camera to the long edge, making it perfect for video calls in landscape mode. That was a smart change, but it made portrait mode a little awkward. The rumor for the M5 is that Apple may go further and add 2 front cameras, one on the long side and one on the short side. Imagine being able to switch orientations and always have the camera in the right spot. 4. FaceTime calls, meetings, or recording content. This could be a game changer. Apple knows how important video communication has become, and this is the kind of subtle but meaningful improvement that makes a device feel smarter. As for the rear camera, don't expect much change. The 12-megapixel wide lens with LiDAR will likely stay, and there's no strong evidence that Apple will bring back the ultra-wide sensor it removed. That's not necessarily a bad thing. The rear cameras on iPads are good, but most people don't buy a Pro tablet for photography. The real value is in the front camera system for calls, AR, and creative work. Connectivity is another area where upgrades are expected. The M5 iPad Pro could debut with Wi-Fi 7 support, which means faster speeds, better reliability in crowded environments, and lower latency. If you work in spaces with a lot of connected devices, this could make your iPad feel a lot snappier. Bluetooth will also likely be updated to the newest version, which will help with accessories like headphones, styluses, and keyboards. Battery life is always a big question. Apple doesn't usually increase the battery capacity drastically, but efficiency gains from the new M5 chip could stretch usage times further. If the M5 runs cooler and smarter, you might see longer battery life when running heavy apps, which is something creative professionals will appreciate. Charging speeds are not expected to see a major bump, though, so don't expect a dramatic change there. Storage tiers are probably going to stay the same, starting at 256 GB and going all the way up to 2 TB. Apple seems to have found a sweet spot with these options, and with Pro users needing huge storage for media files, it's unlikely to cut back. Software is the other half of this story. The iPad Pro M5 will almost certainly ship with iPadOS 26, and this version of iPadOS is all about productivity and intelligence. Apple has been improving multitasking year after year, but iPadOS 26 pushes it further. Expect a more flexible windowing system, better Stage Manager, and a more Mac-like dock that allows you to keep more apps handy. These changes mean you'll be able to use the iPad Pro more like a laptop, switching between apps more fluidly and taking advantage of the bigger screen. And then there's Apple Intelligence, the company's growing suite of AI features. With iPadOS 26, tools like smarter text generation, improved image editing, and enhanced voice features will be more tightly integrated. The M5's neural engine will be built to handle these tasks quickly and privately on device. Imagine generating text, summarizing notes, or editing photos with AI support built directly into the operating system. Apple is betting big on making AI a natural part of the iPad experience, and the Pro models will lead that push. So how much will all this cost? This is where Apple tends to be careful. The M4 iPad Pro was already more expensive than its predecessor, partly because of the OLED screen. The 11-inch model started at around $999, and the 13-inch started at $1,299. Analysts don't expect Apple to increase those base prices again with the M5, unless they surprise us with a huge new feature. So you're probably looking at similar starting prices, though higher storage models or cellular versions could still climb significantly. In the months ahead, expect more leaks, maybe even benchmark results or dummy unit photos, as production ramps up. By the time Apple takes the stage in the fall, we'll have a clearer idea of what's confirmed. But based on everything we know now, the iPad Pro M5 is shaping up to be one of the most polished and capable tablets ever made. Alright, that's everything we know so far about the upcoming iPad Pro M5. If you found this video useful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Thanks for watching Tap Tech, where we keep you ahead of the curve. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.